Welcome to another edition of Interruptions. I'm your host, Otis Smith. Today, my next guest has been on the TV show American Soul. He's also been on Doom Patrol, and he's also been in the theaters acting. He played the Angel Dudley in the play the Preacher's Wife. I'm talking no other than the great young talent of T.J. Jackson. How you doing, sir?
Hey, I'm doing great, man. Thanks for having me on.
I appreciate it. I didn't even know that that was a play that had became a play.
It's crazy. It's crazy about that because
Uh-huh.
the director, he actually didn't. It was supposed to be like this small thing. He
Okay.
didn't want it to be like it was just because nobody's ever done it before,
Right.
right? Like nobody's ever done this play before. And it's crazy because I'm like, this could be a classic. This could be like an annual, type of thing.
Sure.
And we had a rehearsal one day, and one of the actors, he's like, at the time he was like 14 years old, man, and can sing his butt off, dude.
Okay. Okay.
Oh my gosh, right? And so his aunt and manager, she was recording it, and
Hmm.
she posted it
Okay.
on Instagram, and it went
Oh,
viral. So like the
wow.
Shade Room, like Missy Elliott, like all of these top celebrities and everything start
Okay.
commenting and resharing it, and so the play ended up overselling. So it was supposed to be like a
Wow.
small thing at this middle school, and it
Uh-huh.
ended up being like we had to like bring out seats and everything. You got the lawn chairs out in the front.
Wow.
Yeah, it was
That
crazy, man.
I would love to see that play.
Same.
Well, no, I mean redo it, and well, of course you playing, who you're playing. Well, I could see you just looking at your face, either Dudley or the preacher.
Yeah,
Either.
man. I had a lot of fun, like working opposite of those actors, man. Because I look up to Denzel, like one of
Yeah,
my
I was going to
biggest role
ask you,
models.
man, coming behind Denzel.
Come on.
But you know what though? But you know what? Wouldn't it be dope if you did it again, right? The play, like recast it with you. Watch this, and maybe have say Jennifer Hudson playing Whitney's character,
Oh, yeah, that would be dope.
because you
You gonna make
talking
it
about the
happen?
singing,
You
huh?
gonna you gonna make it
I
happen?
Man, I'm putting it in the atmosphere, man. Go ahead.
Come on,
You know the people. You know the people. You do some producing.
come on, get J Hud up in there, man. Come on.
My first question for you, I ask every actor because I'm always curious of how did you get into acting? How did that come about for you?
That's a great question. It's honestly one that we all get in, no matter what industry you're in.
Sure.
For me, it was church. I started out as a kid, like performing in church plays, and I just loved it. I enjoyed it. I learned a lot watching shows like the Cosby Show,
Okay.
shows like that. I just gravitated towards it. And in church growing up, the thing was I would
Hmm.
get compliments from the saints,
Okay.
and I always thought they were just doing a Christian thing. Like, I thought, oh, that baby
Right.
good, you good. So I just thought they were doing the Christian thing, man.
Right.
So I
Right.
never really thought I was good enough to really make it into a career, or pursue it. So
Okay.
it wasn't until I moved down here to Atlanta about
Hmm.
7 years ago, and I got started professionally 6 years ago in August. I was like, I didn't go to school for this. I didn't study for this, so I need training. And so I started taking classes. I started workshops, all of those things, man. And then I started
Okay.
posting monologues on social media of Denzel Washington
Okay.
performances, and independent
Okay.
directors started reaching out, and it just
Oh,
grew from
okay.
there.
How long you been in Atlanta?
December made 7 years for me.
Oh yeah, you from Atlanta then? I mean, I'm born and raised in Atlanta. I'm outside of Atlanta, like in the Snellville, Loganville
Okay.
area.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. I know that's it. Yeah,
yeah,
I
yeah.
love
So yeah, so when I said, oh, okay, Georgia boy, we gonna interview. Okay, good,
that.
good, good, good. You know the comedian J.J. Williamson is in Georgia.
Nice.
Uh,
Yeah, man. It's funny because someone told me once that this is how you know somebody's either from Atlanta or they moved to Atlanta.
okay,
The way they say Atlanta. Like if they say Atlanta or Atlanta, that's how you can
right.
tell.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I'll
That's
be checking
southern.
myself.
Or I tell you what, you can always tell someone from the South, and it's the school that's in Georgia. So
Uh-huh.
if someone says, "Oh yeah, he or she got a scholarship, or they're going to Albany," then they probably not from here. But if they say, oh yeah, they're going to Albany, they they from here. For
That's funny.
you, for you, what has auditioning look like for you? When you are going for a role, do you try to come as the character, or do you just get there and read the script that they have before you, the scene or whatever, and then just try to do your best job, far as in that audition?
The thing is, no matter whether you're prepared or not prepared, or
Hmm.
you want to be prepared, I think it's always a matter of just doing your best. Putting your best foot forward. It's an opportunity to go and play. You
Okay.
get an opportunity to go in there and perform. This is your shot to perform, and you have somebody watching you. And if you look at it that way, then you can walk out with your head held high, regardless of what happens. For me, with the pandemic, everything changed. Um,
Okay.
the Southeast is a little different because we were already accustomed to doing self tapes
Okay.
compared to like a New York, Chicago, or LA, where you
Hmm.
had majority like in-person auditions. When the
Okay.
Southeast, it was mostly the first round were sub-tapes. When the
Okay.
pandemic happened, everybody's doing sub-tapes. I can't even remember the last time I had an in-person audition. Everything's been sub-tapes. So we were already prepared and ready for it. Had the setup and everything
Okay.
ready for that. So that's how our auditions look now. You want to make sure you do your research and that you're prepared for the role and you're off book as much as possible. And then you go in the sub tape, you get to control it, it's your environment, right?
Okay.
And you just have fun and play with it.
So what does that look like? Like when you're sending in a audition tape and it's,
Mhm.
video versus you're being there face to face. What does that look like? Is there someone there with you, another actor, you
Mhm.
know, or is it, if you're doing something like a monologue, is it what?
Right. It's funny because there are some pros and cons to
Okay.
having to be able to do self tapes compared to in person.
Okay.
One of the biggest pros, as you mentioned, is having somebody here that is
Hmm.
an actor,
Okay.
like a reader. Whereas when you go to in person, you're probably going to have an assistant or the casting director themselves reading, and they don't always give you something. Like you
Gotcha.
and I, we're talking, right? And like you're feeding off each other's energy. So it's easier
Right.
to just be in the moment and live. When
Hmm.
you go into a room with the casting director or their assistant and they're just reading the lines and they possibly not even looking up at you, it's like it's kind of hard to be able to really connect. And like, all
Right.
right, can you give me something? All right, let's say this again. Just give me something. Like it's
Okay.
really
I
hard, right?
get it. They just
But with the
reading, but they
subtext,
want
they
you
just
to act.
read. They're
But they
just
want you
reading.
to act though.
They want you to act.
You said something key. I hear a lot of actors that I've had the pleasure to interview, Dennis White,
Mhm,
the great Bill Dukes. You
mhm,
use the same word, and Chantal Morris. You use the same word they use. You said play.
mhm,
That's very interesting. I never heard an actor so far say, well, when you go to work,
mhm.
it's when you go on the set and then we can play. And I
Yeah,
said, wow, can you break that down for the people that will see that? Why is that such a resonated word? Like,
it's
w-
twofold. It's
okay.
twofold, man. And on one first, that's pretty cool that I said some things that some of the greats have said. So that's pretty cool.
Oh yeah, man. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
But it's twofold. One, it when you're growing up as a kid and
Mhm.
you're using your imagination,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
You're just playing. You're just having fun. You're enjoying
Sure.
yourself. You're
Sure.
not caring or worried about what somebody may say or what they may think of you or how you look even. Like, oh,
Mhm.
I look stupid doing this. You're just playing and having fun. You're living in that moment. So the
Okay.
first fold is that it allows you to recapture that mindset and the mentality of I'm just
Gotcha.
playing. I'm just having fun. I'm just
Okay.
enjoying being able to use my imagination. To be able to do that as an adult is just the cherry on top, you know? To be able to like, I don't care how I look, I don't care what you may say or think of me. I'm
Sure.
using my imagination, I'm just enjoying this moment, right?
Got it.
The
Got it.
second thing is that it honestly kind of takes pressure off
Mhm.
of you
Okay.
and it kind of like eases your nerves because at the end of the day, it's kind of like sports.
Mhm.
Basketball, guys, listen, we're just playing out here having fun.
Okay.
Just enjoy it. You're just playing the game. So it kind of takes that pressure off of you to not make it bigger than it needs to be. Just
Mm.
play, have
So
fun.
it gets you in that mindset where actually you can really give a character what it needs because you understand that you're playing
Yeah.
and you're in the moment
Hmm.
versus being in your mind, getting in your head like, oh man, I got to be perfect, I got to nail
Yes.
this. I get it.
Or I look
So
like this, or how did I
right,
sound when I said this? Yeah.
right. You just go play, go play.
Just play.
So how did the one of my shows that I love to watch, American Soul,
Hmm.
how did that come about for you? You were playing with what, one of the Commodores?
Yeah, yeah, it was.
Yeah,
Was it Lionel Richie? Was it Lionel? Yeah, yeah, it was Lionel Richie, man.
yeah,
You know,
yeah.
it was really cool because most of our auditions now, when I first started, I was submitting myself, but now having
Mm,
an agent and being part of an agency, they submit you for different projects, and so
okay,
you get the audition. I actually just got one today, so I have to knock that out later. But you get the audition, this email, and then you prepare and you put it on, and they either cast you or they don't, right?
right,
So now when you're on set, it's kind of like, okay, now I'm a part of the family. I'm a
right.
part of the team, right? And so you get to build these relationships with some great people, man. And it's like, that's another cool part about the whole process is that we get to meet new people, new creative people, and you
Hmm.
just build like this family type of environment and an atmosphere. And you leave with people that become friends and they
Right.
last for a lifetime. So yeah, so the guy that played Lionel Richie and everything, like we're still cool today.
Was that when you got that part, because such a iconic show that Soul Train was.
Mm-hmm.
It was my from childhood to adulthood.
Mm-hmm.
And did you, excuse me, did you just just looking at, all right, I'm gonna play this, and you just in the moment, like you said, playing, or did you also say, hey, let me kind of get an understanding a little bit more about Soul Train,
Yeah,
not the award show, but
right. Yeah, the actual story and
yeah,
yeah, it is funny because I actually called my granny
okay.
and I had a conversation with her about it, and she was one just like, "Oh my gosh, my baby! Oh my baby!" She was like so happy. She said, "You got to tell me when it comes out so I can watch it and everything." So that was really cool in itself to be a part of something that generation
Yeah,
that your
man.
grandma, your granny is like super excited to see it because you'll play different parts of different projects now. And it's like, I did a horror film. My granny probably not gonna watch that horror film, right?
Right, right.
She's like, oh, that's great. Congratulations. I'm glad you're working. But she's probably not gonna watch that. She's not gonna get excited about the Sandman.
Hmm.
But something like American Soul, she was like, oh my gosh, what? You gotta let me know when it comes out so I can watch it. So that's great. So you do your research as far as the what happened, as much
Hmm.
information you can get, so that you can understand the tone, you can understand the storylines, you can
Sure.
understand just where everybody was in that
In that
era.
time, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So now the difference though is
Okay.
for me, I was playing a manager, a studio manager,
Right.
whereas my brother Brandon Shaw was playing Lionel Richie.
Hmm.
So our research is a little different. His is a little bit more
Sure.
extensive because he needs to do more research on Lionel Richie and his mannerisms and just different
Sure.
things
Sure.
to recreate who somebody already was. For me, I get to be more creative because I didn't have a historical figure that I had to go and
Right. So you could kind of just make that character come to life how you want it. You
how I
had more
saw.
autonomy. It-
Yeah. Yeah.
Man, it was my show. I love that show because, like I said, it was it was 106 in part before 106 in part, but
Hmm.
106 in part was, of course, a total different type show, but
Hmm.
it had that same buzz.
Yeah, I
And
agree.
and but the difference was it only came on once a week.
Hmm.
So by it coming on Saturday, man, like you couldn't go outside and play, man, till Soul Train went off. You got you because there was no DVRs,
Right.
right? There was the when it first hit, there was no VCRs. So
Mm.
if you missed it, you just missed it.
Right.
So it was great to see you on there. So how did you cuz Doom Patrol is a totally different type show,
Mhm.
totally different type vibe, and you've been reoccurring on that. So what is that like being on that on a show like that?
It's one of those feelings where with American Soul, you had history
Mhm.
that you were able to be a part of.
Mhm.
And that in itself is amazing. With
Mhm.
something like Doom Patrol, is history in a different sense because it's kind of like being a part of Marvel. We're part of the
Right.
Marvel universe. Here's DC Universe. So you
Mhm.
get to be a part of the DC Comics, the DC Universe. So it's history in a different sense. To where it's like years from now, when you're talking to your children, your grandchildren, they're gonna know more about that than they
That's
probably
true.
would about the history of American Soul and Soul
Yeah.
Train. So it's different conversations and different parts of history you got to be a part of.
So are we gonna start seeing you at the Comic Con and the
At Comic Con,
hey man, they you
if they
already
open
know
back
here.
up,
You already know here they take boy they
listen,
woo
listen. If they open back up, that's another place you get to go as an adult and just play and not care what anybody say or think about you.
man, listen, the first time I saw that the first time I said, what the hell is it? Not understanding because at that time I didn't understand it was just weird looking to me. And
Hmm.
so because I didn't know what it was, I didn't have any perspective, I just didn't
Right,
know. I was like, why are these people dressed up like what the you
right.
know? And so but starting to do what I do now and seeing people who I mean they go speak at these things
Hmm.
and make I mean they can live off of it,
They can just from the
yeah.
speaking engagements, and
And
the
they,
fan base are so loyal.
yes,
And you
yes.
don't you don't see that too often across platforms and industries, but the fan base for Comic Con and those Marvel universes, DC Comics are so
DC
loyal, man.
yeah.
You're gonna have a fan for life.
And they in let's say you have the one here, Georgia, then is one usually is out in California, isn't it?
Yeah, they have a few. One of the biggest ones, of course, out in LA,
Hmm.
California. They have a few though that are pretty big. So, but it's like one of those. One of my favorite shows, is The Big Bang Theory.
Okay.
So I
Okay.
love that show, and that's
Hmm.
huge. Comic Con and everything is huge on this show. So there's an episode where they're
Wow.
literally doing this, trying to refresh the browser to
Okay.
purchase tickets. And it's like
Oh
all of them sitting around their computers, literally just doing this an entire time until
son,
somebody gets in to purchase a ticket. That's how
wow.
big it is for them.
Wow. Man,
Mhm.
man. For you, for you, I've always asked this question to actors. Everybody answer it differently, so I'm just going to be curious of how you answer it. Which is,
Mhm.
what is your take? What is the essence of acting?
That's a great question. I actually haven't gotten that one. The essence of acting.
We try to be different, man.
Hey, no, I love it. I love it, man. Let me go. Let me go. Refer to my notes. Hold on. you know, um, honestly, we talked about earlier about being able to just play and live in the moment.
Hmm.
And when it comes to acting, you are blessed with an opportunity and responsibility
Hmm.
to be able to bring a character to life.
Okay.
The thing about acting is that you're not necessarily playing somebody completely different. It's something Meryl Streep talks about also.
Okay.
You find the similarities and the differences in that character that's
Hmm.
within you.
Okay.
And then you just let that come out. There are
Okay.
times where there are parts of us that we suppress,
Hmm.
that we keep down. We don't let the world see, we don't show it. Whether we're judging that part of us or not, we don't let the
Sure.
world show it. But acting allows you to have that freedom to let that part shine, to let that part come
Mm.
out. So it
Okay.
gives you that you have it's a freedom, it's a responsibility and an opportunity to really allow you who you are to come forward, all of you, no
Mm.
judgments, even from yourself. And we do that often. We judge our own selves. Acting allows you to take that away. I'm not judging this character. I'm finding what's similar about this character that's within me, and I'm allowing that part of me to be free.
That's now the you had the most unique answer to that, because most people would, was always saying acting, it's being, not just being the character that you're playing, but being with another actor, right? But I liked what you just stated, because when I interviewed Chantal Mara, she said some of what you just said. Some
Mhm.
yours is the most unique, but you guys did share a similar thought, which is the no judgment.
Mhm.
Because she talked about, I had talked about someone I had interviewed that and they were talking about they never wanted to play a particular type
Mhm.
character,
Mhm.
and she played on I think it was P Valley, or I
Mhm.
forget which one, and she had played a stripper, and
Mhm.
so her thing was, she said, well, I'm gonna play it, but there's no I don't mind, because there's no judgment. So when you said that, it just struck a chord, similar thinking, similar.
Yeah.
But I liked your answer very much. I love these unique answers, man, because everybody, has a different perspective.
Mhm.
So and this is a side question I just got to ask. So do you find that when you're acting, and what you just stated, no judgment, right? Because you play a character, it can be opposite of you, but it's
Mhm.
something inside you allows you to play that character, right?
Mhm.
Do you think then actors are able to understand a little bit more things that happen in real life? Not that you may agree with it, not that you
Mhm.
agree with something, but because maybe you played a character, or you was in a scene of a character that was like what someone actually
Mhm.
did in real life, and so you can kind of understand it, or kind of get the mindset.
I completely agree. That's you hit that head on. Is in life, our
Hmm.
desire and goal is to be able to understand each other.
Hmm.
We may not agree with everything we say
Right.
or everything we do,
Hmm.
but understanding one another and having that respect
Hmm.
allows us to agree to disagree. It allows us to continue to live, you know, together without having to go to war. And
Right.
so you're absolutely correct where you when you get the opportunity to play a character or to
Hmm.
bring a role to life that you in your life in yourself
Hmm.
would never do,
Right.
would never portray,
Hmm.
it gives you that opportunity to be able to understand somebody's mindset like that. And even if after understanding them I still don't agree,
Right.
I have a better understanding of where
Understanding.
they are, where they come from. And the cool thing about that is when it comes to like mentorship, when it comes to like discipleship, when it comes to those
Hmm.
things where you're able to help somebody else in a mental state,
Hmm.
because you took the time and you didn't judge that character, you took the time to research and really get to understand their mentality and their
Hmm.
mindset. Let's say you run across somebody in real life and you're
Right.
placed in a situation to where it's like, okay, they need someone to talk to them or they need someone to listen. And it happens to be the same type of mindset and mentality. No, I haven't gone through it personally, but because I took the time to not judge that person and research and actually get an understanding, I can now better help this person in real life.
Yeah.
And that's the blessing.
That's good, man. That's why I'm glad you stated that, answered the question the way you did. It allowed me to. That's why there were no bonus questions. Tell me about your new project you got coming out, Bringing Me a Dream.
Yeah, man. This year has actually been a pretty great year so far. I got
Okay.
some auditions, and we got a few projects that are going to be coming out this year that I'm excited about. And Bring Me a Dream was one of them. Bring Me a Dream was this film. It was my first horror film that I ever did before.
Okay.
That alone is much more difficult than a lot of people really understand and realize.
Okay. Okay.
Filming a horror film is, oh my gosh, or anything that's scary is really hard. Because think about it like this, right? You are in a scene or you're filming this and you got all these lights and all
Mm-hmm.
these people around you, but you
Mm-hmm.
gotta trick your subconscious into thinking that you're scared and you're alone. And your
Yeah.
subconscious is sitting there telling you, bro, what are you talking about? We good. Like, we ain't nothing to be scared of. But you got
Right.
to trick your subconscious into believing that you're actually afraid and scared right now. And it's a tricky thing to do. So when we were filming that project, it was at this cabin somewhere in Georgia. I actually forgot where it was, but it was like some miles away from where I live now. And like 2.5 hours away from where I live. And it was like deep in the woods. And so the
Okay.
cabin itself, like you drive up and you have the road here, and then the cabin you was down this long driveway that was surrounded by nothing but woods.
You must have been in Blue Ridge.
So what I would do, I wouldn't park down at the end of the driveway closer to the cabin. I will
Mm,
park at the very end of the driveway, and I
okay.
would force myself to walk down that driveway every night. And I would
Okay.
do that so that, and all I had was the flashlight from my phone. And I
Okay.
would do that to help me have some type of sensory memory of what fear felt like.
Gotcha.
And that experience to be that, immediate and then go and use it.
So you had to build your own suspense.
I had to
So
allow, yeah, I did. I had to create it for me because one, I had never done a horror film before. So that was
right.
my first. And two, in that moment, my subconscious was telling me, there's nothing to be afraid of. Right? So,
You
like,
know,
I'm
I
at this,
never you know I
yeah.
never thought about it like that, but you make a good point, man. Because you know how people say, "Oh, horror movies they're easy to film, they easy the budget's not high." But you know what? I never thought about that until you said that. You got all these people around you,
Hmm.
and even if it's a chasing scene, the cameras, everything still's got to follow you.
Yep,
So it's like, really, how am I supposed to be scared?
exactly. And what you end up seeing is people playing scared, acting scared, or
And you got to really come off.
extremely scared.
Well, I mean, like if the scene, like I get what you're saying, but that's why I said you had to build up suspension in
Yeah.
yourself because it may cause for a scene where you're supposed to jump and then you don't jump because you already know what's coming. So it's like, nah, like TJ, we need you to, brother, you were
Jump right
supposed to
here.
jump at that point.
You're supposed to jump right here and do it afraid, okay? Okay. All right. Cameras ready? All right.
And you still know what's coming.
Because
I get
it's your subconscious.
it.
It's like you can't lie to your subconscious, right?
Right.
Like I can tell my mind, you're afraid right now, be afraid right now. Keep telling yourself you're afraid right now, right? It's scary. Oh my gosh, it's scary. But your subconscious is just sitting there, be like, bruh, like if you don't chill, like your subconscious is like sitting there telling you, what are you doing? So you have to find a way to be able to use, and that's where sensory memory comes
Got
in.
you.
And that's
Got you.
another term like in acting where people talk about sensory memory and how to use it. And
Okay.
that's one way that I was able to use it.
What actors do you study that
Oh,
inspire and encourages you?
yeah, Sidney Poitier.
Oh wow.
Oh man, I can't tell you how many times I've watched Lilies of the Field. I
Okay.
can't tell you how many times I've watched that film. That was when he won his Oscar. But just to watch him, just I try to pick up different things every time, and
Hmm.
certain technical things that I can apply technically. But I just love the way he worked and the way
Okay.
he interacted with his scene partners, and the same with Denzel.
Hmm.
Denzel. I mean, he's the big name, and the most like, especially black
Hmm.
men that are actors, like will spit out Denzel Washington, and it's more so than just because of the fame and the success that he's had,
Okay.
but his ability to connect with his scene partner, his ability to tell a
Yeah.
story, and to
Yeah.
you really do feel what he's saying and what he's sharing, and his connection with his scene partner. And I love that, and I want to be able to have that. So I study him, Meryl Streep. I study her, Viola Davis, Chadwick Boseman, the late Chadwick Boseman,
Oh
Sterling
man.
Sterling K. Brown. Oh my
He
God.
was he was man.
Oh
Chadwick
God.
was man. Chadwick man.
Yeah.
To play James Brown the way he did was, I tell people, forget the dancing and all that.
Mhm.
The 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 scene with he and his James's mother,
Mhm.
who he hadn't seen like since he was a little boy, man. I tell you, another underrated guy. I mean, I do love Terrence Howard as well because I
Mhm.
love guys when you don't even know what kind of character they're gonna play because they
Yeah.
so. But I would say underrated. It may not be underrated to you, but I'm just talking about in the grand
Mhm.
scheme of things. Is Wood Harris.
Mhm.
That dude there. Another the way he connects back and forth with he and who he's acting with. What would be your ideal role?
Ideal role. Okay, so I'm actually really into like politics.
Okay,
I actually really I really like politics. I don't know why, but I don't want to be a politician.
I get it. I get it.
Right?
Hmm.
But if I was able to play a role, I would love to play the president of the United States in an apocalyptic like world.
Mm.
I would love to play that.
Okay, okay, okay,
So yeah.
okay. That's the my final question for you today is what inspires, encourages TJ to keep pushing?
Before I moved to Georgia, I used to work with youth back in
Okay.
Maryland. I moved down here from Maryland. I worked with youth for 8 years since I was 18 years old.
Hmm.
And I would try to and just inspire and motivate them to
Hmm.
believe bigger than they've ever believed before, to chase their dreams, to dream as if their nightmares are right on their tail. I would try to get them to believe that so much to where their dreams scared them, you know?
Okay.
And they are my motivation. They are my inspiration. When I get messages from them now, because everybody's connected on social media,
Sure.
and they tell me like, Mr. TJ, this is what they call me, Mr. TJ. It's
Okay.
like you're such a role model to me. Like it's because of you that I'm chasing my dreams now. It's because of you that I'm doing this. They're my inspiration. They tell me that I inspire them, but they inspire me. And it's because of them that it's like when I days when I'm like, oh, I don't feel like doing anything, or I'm like in second guessing certain stuff. I think of them, and I think of how little old me just taking that leap of faith and jumping is an encouraging, inspiring an entire different generation to change their world. Their world, like that hits me.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate you giving us time, man, and I appreciate you blessing us with your presence, man.
Hey, I
We're gonna be rooting out. We're gonna be rooting for you, and I'm gonna tell Kim. I was like, I'm gonna be the first one standing. I remember when the boy wasn't nobody. You know, you know how we do. You know
Right.
how we do. Somebody look. Somebody got to take credit for
Somebody got
your
to say, well, I
success.
was looking him up while he was sitting on my set.
So I appreciate you blessing us with your presence, man, and continue all the success in the world. Make sure you continue to stay safe and stay blessed, man. And we'll most definitely have you on again.
Hey, I appreciate it, man.
Appreciate you. Thank you.
All right.
Peace.